The snow doesn't care that it's a workday. It falls anyway, heavy, steady, unapologetic, covering sidewalks, cars, and the quiet resentment of alarm clocks that rang far too early. Winter mornings have a way of exposing truth. Not the poetic kind you see in postcards, but the everyday kind. Responsibility doesn't pause just because the world looks beautiful. Inside a small apartment, someone pulls on layers. Jacket, gloves, hat, the kind of routine that doesn't require thought anymore. Outside the window, the snowfall is thick, the flakes large and slow, like they're deliberately testing patience. There's work to get to. Bills don't stop for weather. Rent doesn't care about road conditions. And financial freedom, well, that still feels like a distant place on the map. Somewhere past next paycheck and next unexpected expense. The car is cold when the door opens. Snow crunches under boots. The windshield is already covered again, even though it was cleared just minutes ago. This is daily life. No highlight reel, no motivational poster, just reality. And yet, somewhere between turning the key and pulling onto the road, something quieter begins. The road is slow. The mind is not. Traffic crawls. Every car moves cautiously. Brake lights glowing red through the white blur. The radio murmurs in the background. News, maybe, or music that barely registers. The heater hums, fighting back against the cold that presses in from every direction. This is not freedom. This is obligation. And still, as the car inches forward, the mind starts to wander. It always does on mornings like this, when the body is doing something routine, and the brain has room to roam. What would it feel like if this drive were optional? Not because of laziness, not because of escape, but because work had become a choice rather than a necessity. Because money wasn't a source of constant background tension. Because decisions weren't framed by fear of falling behind. The snow outside blurs the world, turning it into something softer, quieter. And in that softened world, imagination has space to breathe. Thinking about money without pretending it's simple. Nobody really teaches you how heavy money can feel. Not just the lack of it, but the constant awareness of it. The way it sits in the back of your mind while you're grocery shopping. The way it shows up in conversations about the future. The way it quietly influences choices about where you live, what you eat, how often you rest. Financial freedom gets talked about like it's a destination with a clear address. But from inside this car, in this snow, it feels more like a direction than a place. It's not about being rich. It's about being less afraid. Less afraid of one missed paycheck. Less afraid of emergencies. Less afraid of aging, of change, of saying no. The driver grips the steering wheel a little tighter as the car slides slightly on an icy patch. Just for a second. Heart rate spikes, then steadies. That's what vulnerability feels like, too. One unexpected moment away from panic. The no BS reality of daily work life. Work itself isn't the enemy. It's the lack of control that wears people down. The feeling that time belongs to someone else. That energy is spent earning survival before it can be spent building a life. Some days, work is fine, even satisfying. Other days, it feels like trading hours of existence for stability that never quite feels stable enough. The building where the job is located comes into view eventually. Gray, familiar, unremarkable. Just another place where people show up because they have to. Everyone carrying their own version of responsibility, stress, hope, and quiet ambition. The car parks, engine off. Snow continues falling, indifferent. There's a moment before getting out, just sitting there, hands resting, watching flakes collect on the windshield again. And in that pause, the daydream returns. Imagining a different morning. In the imagined version, the snow is still falling, but the morning is unhurried. The drive exists only if it's wanted, maybe to a cafe, maybe to nowhere at all. Work still exists, but it's work that aligns. Work that builds rather than drains. Work that feels chosen. Money isn't a constant conversation in the head. It's a tool. Quiet, reliable, unemotional. There's room to think about things beyond survival. Health, family, learning, rest, joy. The imagined self isn't reckless or disconnected from reality. Just less tense, less braced for impact. And that imagined life doesn't come from luck alone. It comes from intention, from patience, from boring, unglamorous steps taken consistently over time. That's the part people don't like to talk about. But this is a no BS space, between hope and honesty. Dreaming doesn't erase hardship. It coexists with it. You can scrape ice off your windshield and still imagine a better future. You can worry about expenses and still believe in growth. You can feel tired and still be hopeful. The problem isn't wanting more. The problem is pretending it's easy. Building wealth, real wealth, the kind that reduces vulnerability, often looks slow from the inside. It looks like discipline when no one's watching. It looks like delayed gratification in a culture that celebrates instant reward. It looks like driving to work in a snowstorm while quietly planning a life where storms don't dictate every decision. Conversations we don't have enough. People talk about success loudly. They talk about failure quietly. They almost never talk about the middle. The middle is where most people live, the space between paycheck and possibility. The years where progress is happening, but slowly, where doubt shows up often, where motivation comes and goes. This channel, this space, is for that middle, for admitting that financial anxiety exists, for saying work can be exhausting without being ungrateful, for acknowledging that dreaming of freedom doesn't mean hating responsibility. Life is complicated, and pretending otherwise helps no one. Back to the present moment. A door opens, cold air rushes in, boots hit snow again. The day begins. Meetings will happen. Tasks will be completed. Time will pass. And tonight, the drive will happen again. Maybe in darker conditions. Maybe with roads even slicker. But something small has shifted. The dream wasn't an escape. It was a reminder. A reminder that this is not the end of the story. That effort compounds. That vulnerability doesn't mean weakness. That wanting a better life doesn't mean rejecting the one you have. It means believing it can evolve. Snow still falling, life still moving. As the person walks toward the building, snowflakes land on their coat and melt instantly. Temporary, fleeting, gone as soon as they arrive. Not everything lasts, but progress does if you keep showing up. The snowfall continues, quiet and relentless. So does life. And somewhere between the cold morning commute and the long-term vision of freedom, a path is being walked, step by step, day by day. No hype, no shortcuts. Just reality, reflection, and the decision to keep going.